My brothers and sisters, there will be moments in your life when the weight is too much, not because you're weak, but because the test was never meant to be carried by you alone. There are battles not meant to be fought with your fists or your tongue, but with your silence, with your patience, with your trust in the one who sees what they do in the dark and hears the cries you never voice aloud. We live in a time where everyone rushes to defend themselves, to speak louder, to fight harder, to prove their worth to people who don't even see their soul. But the believer walks differently. The believer knows when the arrows fly, when betrayal hits, when lies are told and intentions are questioned. You don't always respond, you don't always explain, because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is remain silent and let Allah fight your battles. Remember the story of Yusuf, upon him be peace, betrayed by his own brothers, thrown into a well, sold into slavery, falsely accused, imprisoned, forgotten, and not once did he lash out, not once did he curse them, not once did he say, "This isn't fair." He waited, he trusted, he stayed silent, and let Allah unfold a victory that could never be denied. From the prison cell to the throne of Egypt. Because when Allah is writing your story, even your pain becomes a bridge to your purpose. My brothers and sisters, let them plot, let them whisper, let them throw stones, but you raise your hands in the night and say, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel. Allah is enough. Allah is sufficient. Allah sees, Allah hears, Allah knows. You don't need to respond to every insult. You don't need to fix every false rumor. You don't need to bring them down to lift yourself up, because you walk with the King of Kings. And when He defends you, the world will watch your rise and never understand how it happened, because it wasn't you, it was Him. Do you remember when Musa alayhi salam stood before the Red Sea? Behind him Pharaoh's army, in front of him water. His people panicked. "We're doomed," they cried. But he stood firm. He didn't fear. He didn't break. He simply said, "No, my Lord is with me. He will guide me." And with that trust, the impossible happened. The sea split. A way was made, not because Musa had a plan, but because he had trust. That is the power of silence backed by faith. You think your situation is hopeless? You think the betrayal is too deep? You think your name has been dragged too far? Wallahi, you are not forgotten. You are not alone, and you are not defeated. But you must be still. You must hold your tongue when your ego wants to scream. You must walk away when your pride wants revenge. Because Allah is not absent. He is delaying so that your vindication is witnessed, so that your elevation is undeniable, so that the story ends, not in your defense, but in His decree. My brothers and sisters, we were never meant to match their hatred with hatred. We were meant to rise above it. We were never meant to drown in vengeance. We were meant to breathe in patience and exhale forgiveness, not for them, but for our own peace, for our own nearness to the most merciful. Silence isn't surrender. Silence is sabr. And sabr is not passive, it is powerful. It's standing in the fire, not flinching. It's hearing the mockery and smiling inwardly, knowing that angels are recording, and your reward is being written in a book that never forgets. When you choose silence for the sake of Allah, it is not you being silent, it is your dua speaking louder than any word. It is your sajda shaking the heavens. It is your tears being collected by angels and turned into light for your path ahead. So don't let the noise pull you down. Don't let their falsehood drag you into arguments. Don't let your heart be hardened by injustice. Instead, let your silence roar in the unseen. Let your calm be a declaration of tawakkul. Let your patience declare, "I know who I serve, and I know He never fails." The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was mocked, slandered, chased out of his home. He was insulted to his face, lied about behind his back, and still he remained composed. Not because he couldn't respond, but because he chose to let Allah handle it. He walked with purpose, not pride. He forgave not because they deserved it, but because his heart was too full of light to hold on to darkness. He showed us When you walk with Allah, your silence becomes your shield, and your dua becomes your weapon. You want justice? Make wudu and raise your hands. You want peace? Fall into sujood and pour it out. You want victory? Let go of the need to win in this dunya, and watch how Allah grants you honor in both worlds. Stay silent, stay steadfast. Let them talk and let them assume, let them twist the truth, because when Allah is your witness, no lie can destroy you, and no enemy can overpower you. My brothers and sisters, you are not weak for walking away. You are strong for walking toward Allah. You are not defeated for choosing silence. You are dignified because you chose trust over ego, sabr over spectacle, and reliance over retaliation. So hold your head high, not in arrogance, but in submission, because the same Allah who defended Yusuf, who parted the sea for Musa, who raised Muhammad above every insult, that same Allah is with you. And when you realize that, my brothers and sisters, a shift happens deep inside you. Your heart stops trembling at the opinions of men. Your eyes stop searching for validation in this temporary world, because you understand what they think of you means nothing. What Allah knows of you means everything. Let them underestimate you. Let them think you've broken. Let them laugh when you walk away without a word. But they don't see the angels walking beside you. They don't see the skies recording your silence as worship. They don't see your patience being stacked like gold in the next life. You're not walking away, you're rising. You're not losing, you're being refined. Think of Maryam, عليها السلام. She endured slander that could have shattered anyone, accusations that pierced deeper than swords. But what did she do? She stayed silent. She pointed to her child. And Allah made that child, Isa alayhi salam, speak from the cradle to defend her, to prove her purity, to silence her enemies. That is what Allah does. He brings miracles out of silence. He brings proof when the world expects you to fall. He brings honor when they try to bury your name. And what about you? You carrying pain so silently. You enduring things no one knows about. You wounded but still walking. Allah sees you, and He is not done writing your story. Every tear you've shed in the dark, every time you clenched your jaw and chose patience, every time you swallowed your pride and forgave, was never wasted. You are not invisible to the one who formed you in the womb. He knows your truth better than you do. He knows the conversations that broke your heart. He knows the hands that betrayed you. And He knows that you trusted Him enough to stay silent. So don't ruin it now by trying to take the pen out of His hand. Don't try to write your own justice. Don't seek revenge dressed as closure. Let Allah finish the script. Let Him be the one who writes the ending, because His endings are always better than yours. Maybe what you lost was never meant to stay. Maybe what hurt you was the very thing that freed you. Maybe the betrayal was the mercy you didn't understand yet, because had they stayed, you wouldn't have found the one who never leaves. Let the world talk. Let them say what they will. Let them try to stain your name. But you keep your eyes fixed on the throne of Allah. You walk straight. You stay silent. You smile because you know that your silence isn't empty. It's full of fire, full of faith, full of a roar. The heavens already hear. There's a moment that comes when you finally realize that letting go isn't weakness, that surrender is strength, that dua is not a last resort. It's the first weapon, that Allah doesn't ignore the oppressed. He elevates them in ways the world can't explain. And if you've been oppressed, know this: every ounce of patience is being weighed, every injustice is being counted, and justice, divine justice, it may not come on your timeline, but it always comes right on time. So what do you do now? You pray with intention, you walk with humility, you stay silent, not because you're defeated, but because you know who your defender is. And when He fights for you, the battle is already over. Keep your heart clean. Don't let the poison of their words infect your soul. Don't let their darkness dim your light. Rise every time they expect you to fall. And when you rise, don't rise with pride. Rise with praise. Rise in gratitude. Rise in knowing you were never alone for a single second. You were never abandoned. You were protected, you were chosen, you were being carved by pain into someone who cannot be shaken. That silence they mistook for weakness, it was the building of your power. It was the sharpening of your soul. It was the preparation for the victory that Allah Himself has written for you. So stay silent, but not passive. Make dua like a warrior. Make sujood like the ground is your throne. Let your pain pour out to the only one who can turn it into something beautiful. And then watch. Watch how Allah moves. Watch how He clears the path. Watch how He exposes every lie. Watch how He silences the slander without you saying a word. Watch how He lifts you up in front of those who wanted you to drown. And you will smile, not because they lost, but because Allah won. And when that day comes, don't gloat, don't boast, don't look down, look up and say, Ya Allah, You did it. You carried me through when I could no longer walk. You fought for me when I had no strength. You defended me when I stayed silent. And now, all I want is to be near You. That is the believer's path. That is your legacy. Not to destroy your enemies, but to become so elevated that they no longer matter. Not to speak louder, but to live higher. Let Allah fight your battles. Be still. Be silent and then be amazed. If this message reached your heart, share it with someone in pain. Remind them, Allah does not abandon the patient. Subscribe to Divine Drop for more cinematic reminders that awaken the soul. And never forget, when you stay silent for His sake, the heavens roar in your defense.